Driving down the road this morning, I was thinking of all the great places that I visit throughout the city and the counties, and I thought, what better way than to put together the top 10 pros of living in Baltimore City from yours truly, the Property Dude. You're thinking about moving to Baltimore City. We get a lot of phone calls every day from people who are looking to relocate into the area. We absolutely love it. If you email, call, or text me any day, time, night, weekend, don't worry, I've got your back. Go ahead and book your consultation. We'll get you covered. Number one, Baltimore, I shouldn't have to tell you, is like a seafood lover's paradise. If you're allergic to shellfish, which I just ran into an old broker friend of mine that is allergic to shellfish, I find it amazing because, I mean, you have shrimp, you have crabs, you have, I mean, the place is like anything you want. Crab cakes, everybody rants and raves. They say, I got the best crab cakes. But in another video, I'm going to tell you exactly who has the best crab cakes in Baltimore. We even had one that Oprah visited. I went and ate, and I'm like, I've had better crab cakes. But and you'll be surprised at like where the best crab cakes come from, because it's, you go to like a seafood house, if you go anywhere down in Ocean City, which is attached to Maryland as well, usually in Ocean City you can't get decent crab cakes. Though there's people down there to tell you, hey, we got great crab cakes. But there's places in Baltimore, and usually they're like little mom pop hole in the wall restaurants, and I'm going to get to those in a future video. I'll tell you exactly where to go to get your best crab cakes. But I mean, the culinary down in Baltimore, you have all these great restaurants, but Baltimore is definitely seafood. Nothing's better than getting your family together and breaking crabs, crack, and drinking beer. You don't eat crabs to get full, you eat crabs for the conversation. Number two, the place is crawling in history. I mean, Baltimore City is like, every place is a museum. I mean, from Fort McHenry, which is the birthplace of the national anthem, which I've been told that he didn't really write it there. He wrote it in a hotel in Baltimore. He was one of those traveling writer guys. This story is just really wild. He traveled. They said he was inside one of the ships and he watched from the shores, but I heard that he was actually inside a hotel like downtown Baltimore when he wrote it. He was actually looking at the Inner Harbor while he was writing the national anthem. Francis Scott Key. Yeah. Babe Ruth was born here, even though he finished his baseball career someplace else. You got Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, literally the place is crawling with museums. You've got Federal Hill with the old cannons. You've got a number of museums that I'll actually get to in another video, but the place is crawling with like absolute wonderful history. Number three, Baltimore is a rare place. You can find homes that were built in like the 1890s, right? There are a lot of homes that still have that colonial influence. In Baltimore, you have the row homes that you can still see a variety of different things. I sold a house a couple of years ago that inside the basement was actually one of the tunnels for the runaway railroad. That was for when they hid the slaves that were trying to escape from slavery. So, I mean, you can find apartments, condos with all kinds of unique ambience within inside that. You might even have a chance to rent a loft in a warehouse. It's strange because we have the industry that we used to be downtown with all, like back in the day, I used to ride with my father. He used to drive a tractor trailer. He used to leave the piers and come around, and they had all these different warehouses. They have the Broom Factory, which is down on O'Donnell Street. The Broom Factory actually houses a real estate company in the basement, but I used to go to Pat Moran's in the Broom Factory, which they cast all the TV shows that come to Baltimore. So that's kind of interesting. And all those places around there are now these, they used to be these vacant lots where they used to store all this stuff prior and during the war and all that stuff during like World War II. Now there are all these avenues. You've got gyms and you've got places to eat, and they got THB, which is a bagel place. Out of all the places I think about, a bagel spot, I really do need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit the like button down below. Make a comment down below that actually changes the algorithms. It goes higher, so that way the living in Baltimore can get to more people. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Number 7, if you like pro sports, we got it. So You have the pro teams. You have the Baltimore Orioles, which of course they've won the World Series a few times. You have the Baltimore Ravens, which is a great smash mouth football game. Nothing is more exciting than watching the Ravens, they have Lamar Jackson right now, who is like this great quarterback. But I can't tell you the number of times we've won Super Bowls based on, like, Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl because they literally won every game by like field goals. I don't know if they try to keep it that close all the time for Vegas bets, but it just seems like there's never been a Ravens team that like ran away from everybody, except for the one not World Series, but the one Super Bowl when they were against the 49ers. I don't know if you remember that or not, but the Ravens were running away from the 49ers and somebody hit the light switch. Remember that? So they had to turn off the light. The lights were off for like 45 minutes, so they warmed back up. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I always joke around because I don't think anybody media-wise likes the Ravens. The Ravens, I give you for instance, Justin Tucker is our field goal kicker, the best field goal kicker on the planet, the best that there ever is, the best. And he kicked the longest field goal. It was like 66 yards. The ball went up, hit the middle of the field goal, and bounced in. It was the best play. It was like the best kick ever. And the media gave it like literally 2 seconds. Yeah, Justin Tucker gets a field goal. Meanwhile, which team do they really love? They love Tom Brady. Tom Brady sits on the sidelines, farts. And they must talk about that for 3 weeks. So, or the guy who peed into a bucket on the sideline. They talked about that for a while. But anyway, if you love pro sports, Baltimore has them. We have the Baltimore Ravens, which is a great football team. The best fans on the planet. I like Pittsburgh's fans too. They're great, really great fans. Sometimes when you get them together, it can be a little rowdy, but the tailgating is phenomenal, and the food. Go tailgate with the Ravens. People give you free food. Have some food. Best food on the planet. So the Baltimore Orioles are right beside the Ravens. Another great baseball team. The best fans ever. We really have some really well-behaved fans. I've called Boston. They're decent fans. Some of the other fans, there's been some fans who's like, it's like, dude, are you really like that into your team where you're like going to get your ass kicked? So I do have a story about the Ravens game. I've gone to a couple down to the Ravens game, and the only thing I can remember about the two Ravens game, the one little girl in front of me had been talking about 45 minutes during the game about how she had auditioned to be a cheerleader, and she knew all the people down there, but they must have cut her. So that was interesting. I didn't have the heart to tell her that my son had actually done a Papa John's commercial with Torrey Smith a bunch of years ago, and we actually sat down on the field for like 8 hours. And when I say that field is hot, it's like a Teflon skillet. There was so much heat, and then the only coldness you have coming off that field is the tunnel. So when you walk past the tunnel, there was a breeze. That was the only thing exciting about being down on the field. Plenty of sports. So you have your minor league teams too. You have like the Ironbirds, which are up in Aberdeen. You have the Bowie Bay Sox, which are down in Bowie, Maryland, which is like PG County. It's really, really easy to find. I know Under Armour came to town. Billy Blanks brought Under Armour. He's down in Port Covington. Him and his developers are developing all these nice places down there. He has a lot of employment for people. You have all the hospitals. You have Bayview Medical. You have Johns Hopkins. You have Franklin Square. You have Upper Chesapeake, which is up here in Harford County. You have all these great hospitals. And then you have the piers. If you drive a truck, you got the piers that drive, you can drive down there. And there's all these supporting jobs. I mean, Baltimore City is like a world-class police department. Baltimore County is world-class firefighters. There's nobody on the planet that doesn't know that Baltimore City isn't like the historical place on the entire planet. I mean, you have the Inner Harbor that's surrounded by all the hotels, and on one side of the Inner Harbor you have the Science Center, you have Federal Hill with the cannons. You come around the Inner Harbor there, you have the Constellation, you have the only remaining U.S. Navy warship that's still in service. It's breathtaking. You got your hotels, you got your restaurants, you got Port Discovery, the Children's Museum. Believe it or not, you'll find a series of museums, and basically the whole place is a living museum. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit the like button down below. Make a comment down below. That actually changes the algorithm. Number 7. I'm going backwards here. Number 4, the education here. Oh my goodness. So you have Loyola, which is highly, and I'm John. I'm the property dude for Charm City. Yeah.